Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be programming MIDI into software instruments on Logic and showing you how to do it, how you can manipulate all this information that you're putting in and change it up, i.e. putting chords in, changing the velocity, and also the sustain of a note as well. So there's a lot to go into. So what we're going to do first is we got a software instrument. I'm going to load up just a simple electric piano there. And we're going to open it up, and here we go. So one way of programming MIDI in is if you've got a USB keyboard or a MIDI keyboard. I have one in front of me here, so if I play notes on here, it plays. Now, let's see what that looks like. So if I hit record now, and now I'll just play D. G. So I purposely played them a bit out of time because I'm going to show you how to put them in time as well as play around to get them sounding a bit more human as well, because sometimes when you program MIDI in, if you have a USB keyboard which isn't that sensitive, there isn't going to be a lot of changes in the intensity of a note, which means it sounds a lot more programmed. Now we want to humanize MIDI at the same time. So again, if you're at the stage where you've recorded some MIDI in and now we want to edit this and get it sounding a bit nicer, if we click on the track, it will bring up our MIDI window here. If you don't want to double track but you want to get to it any time, you can just click the scissors tool when you've got this selected. And here we are. This is our MIDI window. So first thing we want to do is, as you can see, it's programmed into all the notes I played. So we've got a D chord here. And we've got a G chord. And as you can see, firstly, there's a couple of bum notes which I didn't like. So I'm just going to drag over them, and I can just delete them like that, and they're gone. The next thing to think about is what the layout is. So again, as I said, all the notes are down this side here. So if I play a D on the keyboard, it transposes onto here. And then here we've got an A. And what the beautiful thing about this is, if we go to this bar here, and we click on our pencil tool, we can also pencil in MIDI data, and we can then change the length of things as well. So if you don't have a USB keyboard, it doesn't matter, because you can also pencil notes in as well. So that's really cool. Just going to delete them. Right, so what we're going to do now, we've got all the things we want, is we want to put them in time. So we're going to need to quantize the MIDI. So I'm going to select all the notes that we've played, and I'm going to go over to here where it says time quantize. Now, we've got the track at 120 beats per minute, and the time signature is 4/4. So we want to make sure that it's playing to the beats in the bar. So as you can see, we've got our bars here, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4, and as you can see, I played a little bit late. And this is quarters here. So if you're transposing to quarter notes, these are quarter notes here. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I was to hit this button here, the Q, everything I've selected will be pushed to the nearest line here. Now, if I turn it to eighth notes, it will be half. So it will be every 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if it's to 4, it will be every big line. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again, half. As you can see, it's really pushed them. A lot of them are aligned together because it's only every 1, 2, 3. And then the last one is 1, 1. It'll be pushed to the nearest end of a bar. So, and again, 32 and 64, that will be, it's very microscopic, you won't be able to see it. But I'm going to go to 1/16 for now, because there's a couple of times when I'm playing right on the notes. I could probably push it to 1/8 if I wanted to, but I'm going to go 1/16. So now we've got it quantized to 1/16. Again, make sure you've got every note selected that you want quantized. This should now be in time. There we go. You just quantized the MIDI in time. So the next thing we can do is adjust the velocity. Now, what is the velocity? The velocity is the intensity that a note is played. So, for example, if I was to hit a keyboard this hard, that's a certain kind of velocity. But If I now play a note like this, I've played that note with less velocity. It's not as loud, and I haven't hit the key as hard. That's the difference between a high velocity and low velocity. So now, what I'm going to do, if I look at these MIDI tracks, you will tell that they're a different colour. Now, what the colours mean is the more closer to a red colour the note is, that's a louder velocity. Now, the max velocity that you can get on a track is 127. Don't ask me why it's 127. I don't actually really know. But this one's 122, and I think that's a bit too much because, again, we want to humanise this MIDI to make it more like it's playing like, and obviously like an acoustic piano, they're a lot more sensitive, while software, less sensitive again, as the keyboard may not have a sensitive touchpads, meaning that you can't control the velocity as much. So this is where we can. So I'm going to take any notes, and I'm going to hit the shift key when I select these notes. So now I can select them all together. Any notes which are looking a bit red to me, like these ones, as well. I'm going to now go over to my velocity here, and if I drag down, they'll all come down together. And there we go. So now they're all closer together, and then there's also the same. There's a couple of notes which are a little bit green, so I'm going to turn them up a bit. And now we have matched the velocity a lot more. So that sounds a lot more clean, like you can hear all the notes perfectly, the chord. It makes the chord a lot more pronounced and come through a lot better. And so the next thing we can now do is try and sort out these little gaps we've got here. Obviously I didn't use the sustain pedal, so maybe I want it to sustain until the next note is played. Again, it's very easy to do. We just drag our notes. Or you can batch select and drag them all. Just put them in time. Like that. Again, I'll do a rush job at this. There we go. So now, if I were to play it, the notes now sustain until the next one, but they don't overlap, which is great. So if you don't have a sustain pedal, that's fine. So that's basically a very quick tutorial on how you can program in MIDI and edit it so you can get it more to how you want it to be. One last quick thing I'll also add. If I was to double this track in length, maybe I wanted double of this, I could quickly just drag this across like that. If I hold down Alt and drag everything selected, we've just doubled our tracks. Or, if you want to do it a different way, you can just hover above the track here, so where it has this loop little icon, and then if you drag it, my dog just sneezed, you can loop the audio as well. So here we have our audio. So yeah guys, that was a beginner's guide into inputting MIDI data into software instruments. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe because I'll be doing more detailed videos like this, and we'll be going a lot more into how we can use MIDI to create productions. And I'm really excited to share it with you. Also leave any suggestions in the comments of videos you'd like to see, because again, this is what this channel is for. It's to help you learn music production. So yeah guys, thank you for watching to the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one.